guys, welcome back to Making Her Mark and happy Black History Month. This is the first video I've done in February, so I'm a little late to that party. I do apologize, but never fear, this video will be on theme. I'm so excited about this week because this woman of history is someone that I've had a connection to ever since I was little. She made her mark in the music world, and I grew up singing and listening to her music. So let's jump right into it. Our gal this week was born in New York City in 1923. She was orphaned at only age 9, and her youth involved a lot of acting up. So she was taken to reform school pretty shortly after she was orphaned, but she escaped at the ripe age of 15. A bold act, not too different from other females that we've had in the past. When she escaped, she found herself broke and alone during the Great Depression. In 1934, her name was pulled in a weekly drawing at the Apollo Theater, and she won the opportunity to compete in Amateur Night. She was planning on dancing, but after a very impressive dance act, she panicked and decided to sing instead. She sang, and she took home the title. In 1935, she got the attention of arranger and band leader Chick Webb, who became her first mentor and traveled around with his swing band, singing lead and gaining widespread fame. In 1939, Chick Webb died, so she became her own band leader. She got a new manager, Norman Granz, who saw her potential to become an international star. Under his management, she started covering and performing with the greats. Ira Gershwin once said, "I never knew how good our songs were until I heard her sing them." Now, as I alluded to earlier, as it is Black History Month, this budding superstar of a songstress was of African American descent. And as her career took off in the late 1930s and 40s, it was a much less hospitable time. But her manager Norman felt very strongly about civil rights and required equal treatment for all his musicians, regardless of their color. Once, in Dallas, this gal and her entire band were arrested just because the police were irritated by her manager's intense principles. But Norman wasn't the only one willing to stand up for her. She was so talented, loved, and incredibly famous that she received support from numerous celebrity fans, including Marilyn Monroe. Heard of her? Our gal once said, quote, "I owe Marilyn Monroe a real debt. It was because of her that I played the Macombo, a very popular nightclub in the 1950s. She personally called the owner of the Macombo and told him she wanted me booked immediately, and if he would do it, she would take a front table every night. She told him, and it was true, due to Marilyn's superstar status, that the press would go wild. The owner said yes, and Marilyn was there, front table every night. The press went overboard. After that, I never had to play a small jazz club again. She was an unusual woman, a little ahead of her times, and she didn't know it." End quote. So not only was this week's femme fatale an amazingly talented and versatile singer with a career spanning 6 decades, but we also can see a little solidarity among women of her time, which, of course, we here at Making Her Mark love. So, if you haven't guessed it, this week's mark maker is Ella Fitzgerald, America's First Lady of Song. In 1958, she became the first African-American woman to win a Grammy. In 1972, she was the first African-American woman to perform at the Super Bowl halftime. With an immortal career that lasted over 6 decades, Ella has still managed to make her way into the hearts of Americans to this day. Although her genre of music may not be the order of the day, she is nonetheless a marvel to listen to. I highly recommend checking out her covers of the greats and duets with Louis Armstrong. It's no question that Ella Fitzgerald is the perfect woman to kick off the Making Her Mark Black History Month series. Thanks so much for watching, and tune in next week.